Anuradhapura is one of South Asia's most evocative sites, which contain a rich collection of architectural and archaeological wonders. We saw enormous dagobas, which are brick stupas, ancient pools and temples. Anuradhapura is a very special place, with its spirituality, history and serenity. This place is equally fascinating for non-spiritual or non-religious tourists, as well as for the history and Buddhist tradition. Anuradhapura is Sri Lanka's first ancient capital. Hidden away deep in the jungle for many years, this splendid site, with its palaces, monasteries and monuments, is a revelation for tourists and historians. This is a place visited by millions of Buddhists across the world for worship every year. When we went there, the ground was very hot and uneven, and our socks were very useful, not being allowed to walk with our shoes or near the temples. Jaya Sri Mahabodhi. It is hard to believe, but there is no shadow of doubt at all, that this small tree with limbs so slender that they can be supported on iron crutches is the oldest historically authenticated living human planted tree in the world, with a known planting date. Bo tree was brought in Sri Lanka from India when it was a small plant, and it was planted in 288 BC. Bo tree was a help for Buddha, who used to pray under its shade until he attained the enlightenment. Buddhists worship Bo tree and offer things. It is believed to collect merits from these acts, which will help them for betterment of their actual and future lives. To arrive at the tree, it is a very long walk. There is a constant procession of people wanting to pay homage. After we came to the gate, we noticed many tributes of lotus flowers, and the multitude of people praying there give a permanent hum to the air. It's a beautiful and tranquil place, an invitation to peace and meditation. We visited the sacred tooth relic in Kandi on an evening. The shrine was open, so the place was crowded with queues of people with astonishing offerings. For us was a real spectacle of lots of people, flowers and temple officials. Our guide negotiated our way around. Outside the temple, there are grounds to walk round, a small museum and a Hindu shrine. The holy Buddhist temple contains a tooth of Buddha himself. It is beautifully kept and rich with history. This temple has a very important significance in the religious history of Sri Lanka. Our guide bought the tickets for us, and we received a mini DVD containing essential information about the temple. During the evening, we saw a very impressive ceremony where music and dance enhanced the feeling of being part of a very different and complex ritual. The Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic is a beautiful site full of history. It's worth taking time to appreciate the peace of the place and following the history of the tooth relic depicted around the inner walls of the temple. Dambulla Cave Temple is also called the Golden Temple of Dambulla and is a World Heritage Site in Sri Lanka. It is better to visit Dambulla early in the morning. because you have to climb a hill for about 30 minutes, and during the day it's hard to climb it because of the heat. Before entering the complex, we had to remove our shoes and to cover our shoulders and knees. We liked to walk and to climb the hill, although there was a little opportunity to stop on the way up for our guide to point out things of interest. A guide is vital there. Although the large entrance looks too commercial, the huge golden Buddha is impressive at night. The tickets are around $20 American per person for foreigners, and locals can visit the place for free. Unfortunately, the way to Dambulla is not post-signed, and it can be very confusing for tourists. This is why it is advisable to have a professional guide who can save you from all that hassle. The rock temple of Dambulla is situated about 40 miles northwest from Kandi, on the main road to Anuradhapura. Dambulla's rock temples are the most extensive in Sri Lanka. Dambulla, the rock of Dambulla, in which these temples are, is almost insulated and of a vast size. The caves of Dambulla were occupied in early times by Buddhist hermits. The antiquity of this place has been authenticated by the presence of pre-Christian inscriptions in Brahmic character. Dambulla became a popular place of residence of Buddhist monks, at least from the reign of Vatagamani Abhaya. When his kingdom was invaded by South Indians, Vatagamani Abhaya flew from Anuradhapura and was helped by monks residing in caves. Dambulla came into prominence as a religious center in the 18th century. The temples which give the place celebrity are part of a vast cavern in the west side of the rock, at a height of about 350 feet above the plain. All the caves are full of statues of Buddha and various personages of the Buddhist order or history. There are 160 Buddha images in the caves. Dambulla is a mine of decorative designs, the patterns of which resemble those of Sigiriya. The roof and sides of the caves are painted of the brightest colors and decorated with a number of figures, chiefly of Buddha. Dambulla is a place soaked in history and art, which is certainly worth a prolonged visit.